And welcome back here to the Peach State Basketball Real Deal in the Ville. We've got one of two championship broadcasts to bring to you here. This matchup featuring the Georgia Hoopstars against EOTO, as we see Caitlin Duncan with the emphatic block out of bounds here to start the game off. We're here in Franklin, Tennessee, but this is a matchup that those in the Peach State will be familiar with. EOTO and Georgia Hoopstars, both two Atlanta-based, Atlanta area teams. That shot's missed. Caitlin Duncan with the rebound. She gets it to Alexandra Frazier, a player you'll want to keep your eye on throughout the course of the game. McKenna Puenge has that shot blocked, and EOTO has it. I'm Marcus Burnett bringing you this ProspectsNation webcast powered by the SUV. We appreciate you joining us. It's been a great day of basketball here so far. And looks like we're going to have an illegal screen there. It's going to go against number 31, Zakiah Wright. So we've still got a 0-0 ball game here. Drawing a foul is Alexandra Frazier. Frazier, nothing new with her being the spark plug for this Georgia Hoopstars squad, but she's definitely having a solid July thus far. We had her on our PSB Summer Kickoff Championship webcast a few days ago. The Georgia Hoopstars were able to defeat a talented Essence girls basketball team. Here they're trying to go ahead and get this Real Deal in the Ville championship and use it as momentum for the battle in the borough here in the Nashville, Tennessee area. Got Chris Watkins joining me on the microphone here. One of my ProspectsNation TV colleagues, does a great job with the featured player evaluations, highlights, and some of the different reels and footage that you see on players. And excited to have him here on the full game broadcast.
Always a joy to be able to step on the mic with you, Mr. Burnett.
Got a good matchup here, the Hoopstars versus EOTO, two teams familiar with each other, being from the same area. So now a 1-0 advantage in favor of the Hoopstars.
You know, really like this younger EOTO group. You know, we really watched that program grow in the last couple of years, you know, whether in the older group, the Carly Beerens, the Ashley Parkers, and this younger group, you know, playing here against some older 2015 grads in this Georgia Hoopstars team.
Hoopstars squad that, you know, really over the past, few weeks has really impressed me with the way that they've moved the ball. As we have a substitution in number 2, Kelsey Arnold, who's been shooting the ball as well as anybody over the past week or so. But you can see Coach J.D. Davis's team getting better, slowing the game down a little bit more, moving the ball, and really making some development as we approach the stretch run of July here.
You see right there McKenna Puenge out guarding the ball, right before it led to that steal with Duncan on the other end. McKenna's done a really good job of really buying in on the defensive end. Her ability to really try to lock down and slide her feet, as well as she's a fantastic shooter from the outside.
As we see the Hoopstars wasting no time cranking the defense up as they get a steal, a layup, and the EOTO wants a timeout to talk about it. You touched on a great point, Chris, as far as number 21 for the Hoopstars, McKenna Puenge, and the defense that she's been able to play. I think that's a underrated aspect of her game. A lot of people know her for shooting the threes and doing some of the other things that she does, but she can be a lockdown defender when she sits in that chair and moves her feet.
Yeah, I've actually, heard from a couple coaches today who had mentioned, how impressed they were with her ability to guard. 2 back-to-back scoring buckets right there by Caitlin Duncan out of Banks County. She's had a really good spring and now early summer period for Coach J.D. Davis and Hoopstars.
Duncan, with the number of games that they played over the past few days, Duncan's legs look very fresh on that steal and layup. So the Hoopstars really feeding off of the team defense that they're playing right now. EOTO just trying to get it across the timeline. They do. Three-pointer on the way. That's going to be out of bounds. That shot off the mark there by number 5, Mackenzie Gillespie.
You actually had a chance to hear the Hoopstars coaching staff, J.D. Davis and his assistants, discussing the defensive game plan they were working on today with this press. You know, they were talking about how they're really talking about getting in the offensive player, making them put it on the floor, give them nothing easy.
Mission accomplished so far. There we see Tiana Swearinger. A little bit of sizzle there with that bucket, making it a 7-0 advantage. EOTO getting a good shot, and they missed the first. Can't say the same about the second. As that bucket scored by Zakiah Wright. EOTO, it's no secret, they're going to be pressured here in this game by the Hoopstars. They've got to be able to, one, handle the pressure, get it across the timeline, but then get good shots. As we see Poenge get the floater inside.
Yeah, that's something that, you know, she's really tried to improve on her game. That was a, you know, really nice right to left crossover, little floater in the paint.
9-2 ball game, and there you got a turnover by EOTO. You can ill afford those with the way they're pressuring.
I think the biggest thing, if they want to make this game competitive and stay in it, they're going to have to get comfortable handling against this press, or could it get out of hand early.
Swearinger in attack mode. She misses that shot. Zakiah Wright with the strong rebound. Poenge going to be called for the foul. I think Zakiah Wright, she is going to have to shoulder a very heavy load on the inside for them to win this game. When you look at it from a standpoint of defense with the way the Hoopstars are attacking right now, but also just rebounding, period. Kristen Copeland with the ball. A lot of dribbling going on. She decides to take it to the rack. Second block of the game for Duncan. You mentioned Duncan and what she does for this team on the defensive end. She's one of the more versatile defenders. You know, your thoughts on that, you know, having seen her play over the past few years, as well as the featured player evaluation.
Yeah, you know, in terms of her ability and Duncan being like kind of a utility, she does a lot of things. You know, she's not one-dimensional. And on the defensive end, I actually was able to see her at the Adrian Penland Basketball.com showcase as well when we ran some video clips of her on ProspectsNation.com.
You'll see her guard various positions and do multiple things well. For Coach J.D. Davis' squad, give EOTO credit. They responded to the initial pressure and are still very much in the hunt here in this game. 9-4 ball game, plenty of time left. We're coming right back with the bucket, Bernice McGriff.
Yeah, she actually shot the ball. That's kind of her, you know, her nice little range there in the paint. Shot actually exceptionally well from the short corner yesterday in an earlier matchup. She's been working on that perimeter game, you know, working to develop. She started off with the 4, moving more towards the 3 now, going into her senior year there at Parkview High School. That's one of the things, you know, Coach J.D. Davis was really working on with her, you know, over the last year or two.
And you can see his players really getting better. Talk to him pregame about how Kelsey Arnold, number 2, who you see chasing that ball down out of bounds, as well as Rain Beeman, who hasn't entered the game yet, comes off the bench. How they've really gotten better, you know, by leaps and bounds over the course of the past month and a half, 2 months since the travel season started. Shooting the ball with a lot of confidence and really being able to provide some good compliments to Alexandra Frazier, number 1 here for the Hoopstars. EOTO active hands on defense. They force the steal. Deep 2, count it. That one knocked down by number 5, Mackenzie Gillespie. Allison Johnson splits through the defense. No good on the shot. She's fouled. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. But so far, Chris, your thoughts on how EOTO has handled the pressure here early on?
I think the biggest thing, you know, they've broken the press a couple times, and like when we started talking about Duncan, the fact that she was able to block the shot on the other end. They got to be, once you break the press, you either have to pull it back out and get a set that you want, or you have to focus on ensuring you're going to get a good shot on the other end. You just don't want to go in there out of control and wish that it's going to go in.
Definitely not. This Georgia Hoopstars team will get the rebounds and be off to the races in a heartbeat. Hustling right there for the ball. Rebound not grabbed by either Wright or Hetzel there. Good hustle, but the ball stays with the Hoopstars after it's off of their hands. Allison Johnson proving too strong on that possession inside. She gets the rebound and the putback. Another jumper from outside by EOTO. They're going to have to be able to hit the jumpers at a high clip in this one. Hoopstars' quickness and size advantage is going to make it tough to get to the rack, so the jumper has to be able to fall. I think you touched on a very important point, making sure they set it up and get a good shot, not just any shot. 9:51 and counting left to play here in the first half. Hoopstars with it. Brianna McGee with the ball. Gets it over to Frazier. Frazier with the mid-range jumper. She's been clockwork with that mid-range J.
Yeah, when you look on this back line of college coaches that are sitting here watching this game, a lot of them are here watching Frazier.
What's your synopsis of Frazier as a prospect? Not only what she's been doing lately, but looking at the progression she's made, over the past couple years.
She's always been extremely aggressive. Her outside shot from three has actually continued to develop. Does a great job of getting to the rim. We actually had a conversation, myself and Hemingway and Stephen Peck last evening about the difference, players being able to put on the deck and get to the rim and stop and pop. You saw she has that ability to really go one or two dribbles and pull up there. That's a tough shot to hit.
Nice cut right there by Hetzel. Shot won't go, but agreed on Frazier. She's really knocked that, created that knack. As we see her take the contact there and still score off the glass. EOTO wants another timeout. Georgia Hoopstars seeing red right now. Coach J.D. Davis still seeing something that he's not happy with. Talked about the recent summer kickoff championship, them going after this championship and really trying to take some good momentum into the Battle of the Borough. So, I'm sure they want the W this game, but he's looking bigger picture, as evidenced by this timeout here. As a coach, Chris, you focus on the game at hand, but what was your perspective on, using that current game to make sure you guys work towards the bigger picture?
Well, at this standpoint, it's about them getting better, and like I said, getting ready for the Borough and making sure you want to keep winning at these tournaments, these national tournaments, because you want to stay on the main court, you want to stay in the main gym, and if you lose, it's harder to do that. The more games you win, the more games you play in front of a baseline full of college coaches like we have here today at the Real Deal in the Ville.
Another jumper knocked down there. This time it's number 23 for EOTO, Lexi. Frazier fighting for the rebound. She comes away with it, gonna throw it ahead to McGee. McGee loses it, regains it, but not before Zakiah Wright knocks it away. Ball still loose. Uche throws it up. It's no good. And we're going to have an EOTO turnover.
For those of you watching the broadcast at home, as you see the big group of girls crossing the court that are standing, jumping up and down every time, that's the EOTO's older group, who will actually be with us the whole last second half of July during that open period.
Nice to have the crowd support you see them showing.
It was almost like it was on cue. I mentioned them, and they just go ahead and start cheering again.
Rain Beeman now in. Gets it to Saunders. Saunders with the work inside.
really like the aggressiveness there. You know, the fact she caught it, she measured, and then she pounded it and really did a good job of feeling the defender before she turned around for the low turnaround jumper inside.
That three-pointer off the mark there for EOTO. Beaman gets it to Frazier. Frazier attacking along the baseline, the fall-away jumper.
That's 6 of the last 8 points there for Frazier.
Said the coaches were here to see her. And she's doing exactly what she does on a daily basis, just doing it in front of them here at the Real Deal in Ville, taking advantage of the stage. Beeman gets it to Cranston. Cranston misses the shot, but she'll be fouled. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. It's Raquel Cranston, attends Shiloh High School here in Snellville, Georgia. Seeing this Georgia Hoopstars team play with more and more confidence as they continue on in this travel season. I think a big part of that is just getting better, you know, as the season rolls along, but also the way that they move the ball now as opposed to some of the times in the past. You know, Frazier has tools, and a lot of times you'll see her be aggressive and kind of set the tone. But now you see them do a lot more moving the ball around, getting Swearinger, Kelsey Arnold, and the others involved.
Nice little switch there on the ball screen.
EOTO has it. Nearly a steal. It's not, but that floater no good. Offensive rebound inside. We're going to have a jump ball. Possession arrow will keep it with EOTO. (24-8) ball game. 6 minutes, 10 seconds left to play here in the first half. Appears to be a discrepancy with the score. 24-9. Officials came over, made sure we got that taken care of. EOTO can use a score here. They try a three-pointer. It's no good. Fighting on the offensive glass, they get another opportunity. Nice block there by Saunders. EOTO scrappy here on the offensive glass. Another three-pointer on the way. That's 4 opportunities here in this one possession for EOTO. Definitely hustling, trying to close this gap.
You know, if they can get a couple of those shots to fall, they can get back in this game here pretty quick.
That's a good thing about the 3-bar. They say live by it, die by it. It can definitely help you live and close the gap if you can string a couple together. Wright attacks hard, little off balance on the shot. It's no good. Comes Swearinger the other way.
Well, you know me well enough. I'm all about them shooting the 3.
Most definitely. It fits not only the situation, but I think it fits their personnel. It's what they do. You know, similar to a West Virginia Thunder. This year, not as much, but back when they had Michael Johnson, Jenna Burdett, Griffin Dempsey, that West Virginia Thunder squad, you could always bank on a certain number of threes being attempted.
Yeah, that was a fun team to watch, definitely. Coach Scotty Johnson, you know, it was a good group in terms, they got whatever shot they wanted every time down the floor. And, you know, got a lot of threes off the flare screen. You can tell they really worked.
Passing lanes, the steal and the layup drill. Kelsey Arnold.
See, that's the thing. When you're able to get those easy buckets, it makes it harder for EOTO. You know, the biggest thing, You can't press if you can't score. And now when you got the Hoopstars are getting these easy buckets, they're able to jump on the press. And they force EOTO, get uncomfortable, and then take a 3 from 5 feet behind the line.
And it's a 26-9 ball game. Arnold going to step in, take the mid-range. She continues to shoot the ball well. Swearinger weaving through the EOTO defense. Nice hustle by Zakiah Wright, gets the steal. She's going to kick it ahead. Skylar Miller with it. She'll get it out top. Three-pointer on the way by Lexi. In and out. You need those to stay down. That one won't.
Nice pass.
Pass by Swearinger, finished by Saunders.
Saunders having a good little 4 or 5 minute run right here.
That she is. They're really playing good team basketball right now. Everybody's getting a touch, getting buckets.
You know, this is kind of what these kids live for. You know, when they're the high school, the AAU practices, and you get a chance, come the opportunity to play at an event like this. You got college coaches lining the back line. You got kids that are really coming, and they'll walk away with scholarship opportunities during this July open period.
The three-point shot still evading the EOTO offense. The hustle's there, unfortunately for them at this point in the game. The made shots are not. Meanwhile, the Georgia Hoopstars just have everything going. Raquel Cranston gets another bucket. Everybody getting involved here on the defense and offensive end. Wenge gets the steal. He's going to be fouled on the shot. Maybe not the best shot selection there on the fast break, but they're flowing right now, so I'm sure it's nothing that, you know, Coach J.D. Davis will have too many qualms about. And really an even tougher foul there. You know, that was a 1-on-2 fast break. Wenge decides to pull up for about a 20-footer. That's a shot you let her go ahead and take. (33-9) ball game. 3 minutes, 25 seconds left to play here in the first half. In and out on the second free throw. Zakiah Wright with the rebound. Lexi with it for EOTO. Copeland has it, gets it back to Lexi. Hoopstars have the trap working perfectly.
I mean, she's out there working. You know, she's 2018. You know, putting it on against the Georgia Hoopstars team that consistently has players move on every single year to the Division I level.
And you go after these games, you know, the primary objective is to be able to win the games, but even when you're not necessarily favored in the score column, you still got to be able to compete and have different takeaways from the game. And I think, you know, the 2018 player you just mentioned, Lexi, number 23 for EOTO, she's definitely going to be able to get better from this game. She's already doing a pretty decent job of being able to handle the pressure without succumbing to it and turning the ball over at a high rate. They just have not been able to get the shots to fall. We're approaching final 2 minutes and 30 seconds here in the first half. Beeman gets the bounce. (35-9) ball game. Brianna McGee with the steal. It's a layup of her own.
It's right there. You want, when you're a guard and you're handling against the press, especially right there once you go to half court, the last thing you want to do is turn your back.
Yeah. Nice hustle to get the steal there. Unable to knock down the shot is Miller. Bernice McGriff brings it the other way. She'll get it to Duncan. Now over to Frazier. Frazier going to pull a three this time. No good. Here's Duncan. Duncan with the splash from the corner. The Furman commit having a good game along with the rest of her teammates here. Kaya Wright with it. Unable to stay in bounds during that save attempt. So the ball back over to the Hoopstars. I've always appreciated EOTO's color scheme. It's different. I don't really see a whole lot of teams with it, and the EOTO Penguin has to be one of the coolest mascots out there.
I love it, and I just like what their program has done, and my involvement with Peach State basketball, going up. I guess this is going to be on year 4, starting next year. You've seen the evolution of EOTO, you've seen their players develop, you've seen their program develop. 3 years ago, you wouldn't have been watching this game with this many college coaches on the baseline. This is big for their program.
As they're continuing to compete. Here in this one as we approach the final 10 seconds of the first half. Lopsided first half here in favor of the Hoopstars, but it hasn't been due to a lack of effort on EOTO's part. A lot of it has been what the Hoopstars have done right as far as the pressure. Everybody's knocking down shots inside and outside. And EOTO having a tough time getting the ball through the hole. So that is going to do it for the first half. Thanks for joining us here. We'll be back with the second half shortly.
showtime, fellas. Showtime, man.